Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that seems ordinary at first glance, a 5-cent 1996 United States coin, a simple nickel that millions of Americans have passed through their fingers countless times, yet this very coin hides an extraordinary secret that makes it one of the most valuable coins in modern numismatic history. And today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of this 1996 nickel, a coin whose face value is just 5 cents but whose actual market value has skyrocketed to an astonishing $65 million in certain rare and extraordinary circumstances, and what makes this coin so special is not immediately obvious because at first glance it looks like any other 1996 nickel minted in Denver with the familiar Jefferson portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. But upon closer inspection and to those trained eyes who know exactly what to look for, collectors have discovered remarkable variations, misprints, and rare minting anomalies that transform this everyday coin into a treasure of historic significance and extraordinary monetary worth, and the story of the 1996 nickel is one of the most compelling in American coin collecting because it is a testament to how tiny production errors or extremely limited minting runs can create items of immense rarity and value that captivate collectors around the globe. So let's break down the factors that have turned this simple 5-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar collectible, starting with the minting process itself, which in 1996 at the Denver Mint involved striking billions of coins for general circulation, but amidst this massive production, certain coins were struck with subtle errors that were nearly impossible to spot unless you knew exactly what to look for, and these errors included things like die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, and even variations in metal composition, each of which could make a standard nickel into a highly sought-after rarity. And while most coins with minor imperfections are usually overlooked or pass unnoticed in circulation, a few coins like the 1996 nickel with particular anomalies became legendary among collectors because they are incredibly scarce, sometimes with only a handful known to exist, and the allure of owning something so rare creates intense competition in the collector market, with some of these coins fetching mind-blowing prices at auctions, private sales, and numismatic conventions. And beyond the minting errors, the history of this nickel itself is tied to the broader story of U.S. coinage, the Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938, which replaced the Buffalo nickel and became an enduring symbol of American currency, featuring a design beloved for its classic simplicity, but within that continuity, the human and mechanical factors in minting led to occasional mistakes that now, decades later, make certain coins historically and financially invaluable, and the 1996 nickel is a perfect example of this phenomenon, demonstrating how a coin produced for everyday transactions can accidentally become a multi-million-dollar artifact, and the excitement among collectors comes not only from the potential monetary gain but also from the thrill of discovery. The moment when a collector examines a coin under magnification and realizes it is unlike any other, a rare gem that connects them directly to the intricacies of coin production and the hidden quirks that make each minting unique. And as stories of sales, auctions, and private collectors find spread through numismatic communities and online platforms, the reputation of the 1996 nickel grew, elevating it to a near-mythical status where enthusiasts dream of one day holding such a piece in their hands, and the cultural fascination with coins like this extends beyond pure collecting into realms of history, economics, and even social psychology, because the coin represents not just metal stamped with a president's profile, but a tangible connection to a specific moment in U.S. history, a representation of how human oversight and mechanical processes intersect in ways that produce unintentional yet extraordinary results, and this phenomenon is amplified when the coin's rarity is combined with perfect condition, grading by professional coin graders who examine wear, luster, and strike sharpness, turning an already rare nickel into a highly coveted investment asset, and the stories of collectors paying millions for a single 5-cent coin capture the imagination precisely because they challenge conventional ideas of value, showing how scarcity, historical significance, and human fascination can transform a tiny object into an object of immense desire. And for the 1996 nickel, the journey from ordinary circulation coin to $65 million icon involved not only the accidental minting anomalies but also the careful documentation, authentication, and marketing within the coin collecting world, where experts and enthusiasts build networks of knowledge, verify authenticity, and celebrate the thrill of uncovering coins that defy ordinary expectations. And as collectors continue to seek the elusive 1996 D nickel in pocket change, estate sales, and hidden collections, the coin's legend continues to grow, inspiring countless articles, videos, and discussions that highlight not only the financial potential but also the rich history and artistry embedded in American coinage. And ultimately, the 1996 D nickel is more than a coin. It is a symbol of the unexpected wonders hidden in plain sight, the potential for ordinary objects to achieve extraordinary status, and the enduring allure of human curiosity, craftsmanship, and the pursuit of rarity, reminding us that even something as seemingly mundane as a 5-cent coin can hold stories, secrets, and value beyond imagination. And as collectors, historians, and enthusiasts continue to celebrate and chase these incredible coins, the 1996 D nickel remains a shining example of how American coinage history can produce moments of sheer wonder, turning everyday currency into treasures worth millions. And so, if you have ever held a coin in your hand and wondered about its story, the 1996 D nickel proves that even the smallest piece of metal can hold a world of intrigue, excitement, and astronomical value. And for those looking to explore, invest, or simply marvel at the history encapsulated in U.S. coinage, this nickel serves as a timeless reminder of the magic that can exist in our pockets, changing our perception of value, rarity, and history forever. So like and subscribe for more fascinating deep dives into coins like the 1996 D nickel, whose 5-cent face value belies a mind-blowing $65 million worth of history, mystery, and collectible appeal in the world of rare American currency. Next, 1987 P 5-cent USA coin. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could literally change your life, a tiny piece of history that is worth millions today. And before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to like and subscribe because what you are about to learn is going to blow your mind. We are talking about a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin from 1987, minted in Philadelphia. Known as the 1987 P nickel, a coin that in everyday transactions would barely buy a bubblegum, but in the numismatic world has skyrocketed to a staggering $63 million in value, making it one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in the history of United States currency. And the journey of this coin to becoming such a treasure is as fascinating as its value itself, starting with the history of nickels in the U.S., which began in 1866 with the Shield nickel, progressing through the Liberty head design, and ultimately arriving at the Jefferson nickel design we know today, first introduced in 1938, commemorating the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, whose likeness on the coin has remained largely consistent but for subtle changes in design, metal composition, and minting processes over the decades. And the 1987 P nickel is particularly intriguing because of a combination of rare errors, limited production anomalies, and collector demand that has made its value skyrocket. The coin itself features Jefferson on the obverse with his profile facing left, the inscriptions including Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the year 1987, with the mint mark P indicating the Philadelphia Mint, and on the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's iconic estate, along with E pluribus unum and the denomination 5 cents. Yet the reason this specific coin has become so valuable is tied to a series of minting errors that are both subtle and astonishing to collectors, including double dies where the lettering or images appear slightly offset, repunched mint marks where the P appears more than once in different positions, die cracks that create unexpected lines across the coin's surface, and striking anomalies where metal flow during production caused distortions in Jefferson's portrait or Monticello's architectural details. And while some errors might seem minor to the untrained eye, in the world of coin collecting, these imperfections can elevate a coin from mere pocket change to multi-million-dollar status. And the rarity of these errors is compounded by the fact that only a handful of these 1987 P nickels with such characteristics exist, making them exceptionally desirable at auctions and private sales. And over the years, records have shown that such coins have fetched unbelievable amounts, not just because of the metal they contain, which is primarily a copper-nickel alloy, but because of their provenance, the documented history of ownership, and the excitement that surrounds coins with unique or unusual minting stories. Collectors often engage in intense bidding wars, attending coin shows, joining numismatic societies, and monitoring online auctions to secure one of these rare specimens. And beyond the errors, the coin's age also plays a role, as coins from the late 20th century with specific minting anomalies are considered modern rarities, bridging the gap between contemporary coins and historical collectibles. And experts often spend hours examining such coins under magnification, noting minute differences in die lines, luster, strike depth, and edge details, each factor contributing to the overall grade and thus the market value. And grading organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, authenticate and encapsulate these coins, giving buyers and sellers confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition. And for the 1987 P nickel, the combination of high-grade examples and error varieties has created a perfect storm in the collector's market, resulting in a coin that is not just a piece of metal but a tangible link to history, economics, artistry, and human fascination with rarity and value. And the story doesn't stop there, because each coin carries with it speculation and mystery, as some are rumored to have unique die errors that are yet to be discovered, hidden in circulation or in forgotten collections in safety deposit boxes, attics, and old coin albums. And the thrill of finding one of these coins can be life-changing, sparking the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors alike. And as a result, the 1987 P nickel has become a symbol not only of monetary wealth but also of human curiosity and the passion for preserving history in tangible form. It reminds us that even the smallest objects can hold immense stories, and it challenges us to look closer at the ordinary, to question what makes something valuable, and to appreciate the intricate craft and precision involved in coin production, from the melting of metals, rolling of planchets, careful striking under massive hydraulic presses, to the detailed inspection by mint workers, all of which combine to occasionally produce a coin that defies its humble beginnings as pocket change to achieve legendary status in numismatic history. And the 1987 P nickel is now celebrated in coin shows, online communities, and collector forums where enthusiasts share stories, tips, and images of these rare treasures, further fueling demand and cementing the coin's status as a once-in-a-lifetime find. And the lesson here is that value is not always apparent at first glance, and that meticulous attention to detail, historical context, and scarcity can transform the simplest object into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. And for anyone holding a 1987 P nickel, it is worth examining closely, considering professional grading, and potentially keeping it safe as an investment, because in the history of U.S. coins, few modern nickels have captured attention, fascination, and financial significance quite like this coin, ultimately showing us that sometimes the smallest denominations carry the biggest stories, the largest surprises, and the most incredible financial outcomes, culminating in the 1987 P nickel reaching an astounding $63 million valuation, a testament to the intersection of history, human interest, and monetary rarity, proving that coins are more than currency. They are artifacts, investments, and the embodiment of human ingenuity and chance. Next, 2012 P 5-cent USA coin, everyone, to our fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, where today we are diving deep into the extraordinary story of the 2012 P 5-cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike with its staggering value of $61 million. An amount that might seem inconceivable for a coin whose face value is merely 5 cents but becomes understandable once you explore the multitude of errors, mistakes, and peculiarities that make this particular coin a veritable treasure in the numismatic world. And as we unfold this story, you will see why collectors, enthusiasts, and even casual observers are captivated by the sheer rarity and uniqueness of this coin, starting with the most obvious aspect, which is the minting errors that occurred during production at the Philadelphia Mint in 2012. An era when quality control was generally stringent but still prone to human and mechanical mistakes, and these mistakes manifest in several forms, from double die errors, where the coin's design appears to be struck twice, causing letters and numbers to appear blurry, misaligned, or doubled, to off-center strikes where the metal blank was not properly aligned with the coin press, resulting in an incomplete impression of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and Jefferson's portrait on the obverse. And each of these errors individually can increase a coin's value dramatically. But the 2012 P nickel is particularly noteworthy because it contains Multiple types of errors on the same coin, including a rare and highly sought-after die crack along the rim that extends into Jefferson's cheek, giving the coin a unique character that cannot be replicated, and the presence of a faint but distinguishable cuds where chunks of metal were displaced during striking, creating raised areas that are irregular and impossible to produce intentionally, adding to the coin's mystique and rarity. And beyond these physical minting errors, there are also variations in the metal composition that have been noted in some specimens, where the copper-nickel ratio appears slightly off compared to standard issues, likely due to an anomaly in the alloy mixture during production, a subtle difference that only expert numismatists with proper tools can detect, but which contributes significantly to the collectible value because it makes the coin a true one-of-a-kind artifact. And let's not forget the historical context surrounding the 2012 P-nickel, a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with various press settings and adjusting pressure in the coin presses to improve efficiency while maintaining quality, which inadvertently led to the production of coins that deviated from the norm in ways that were not immediately apparent to casual handlers, and as collectors began examining batches of nickels from that year, they noticed that the 2012 P coins with these errors appeared in extremely limited numbers, making supply scarce and driving demand ever higher. And the scarcity factor cannot be overstated, as in the world of numismatics, rarity is one of the most powerful drivers of value, and in this case, the combination of double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, cuds, and minor alloy inconsistencies has created a perfect storm that has elevated the 2012 P-nickel from a simple 5-cent piece to a multi-million-dollar collector's item, and when you consider the possibilities for future discovery, the story becomes even more compelling, as there are still unknown specimens potentially sitting in circulation or in private collections, coins that might contain even more dramatic errors or variations that have yet to be documented, and each new discovery has the potential to further increase the overall market value of these coins, especially as the collectors community actively seeks to obtain examples with the most pronounced and unusual characteristics, and it's also important to mention the grading aspect, where professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assess the coin's condition, and even slight differences in grade can translate into exponential differences in market value, so a 2012 P-nickel with these errors in uncirculated or pristine condition can fetch tens of millions, while lower-grade examples, though still valuable, would be worth considerably less. And the excitement among collectors is further fueled by auction records where similar error coins have sold for staggering sums, demonstrating that the market truly recognizes and rewards these anomalies. And another factor contributing to the coin's mystique is the story behind its creation and the subtle imperfections that human hands and industrial machinery impart during minting, reminding us that even in a highly mechanized process, tiny deviations can produce artifacts of immense value. And this narrative resonates with collectors who appreciate the blend of artistry, history, and chance that defines numismatics. And in addition to the minting errors, the design elements themselves contribute to the coin's appeal, with Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello on the reverse, both icons of American history, being slightly distorted or enhanced in appearance due to the errors, making each coin not only a financial asset but a piece of visual and historical intrigue. And when you analyze the possibilities for long-term appreciation, this coin represents a rare intersection of low mintage errors, historical significance, aesthetic uniqueness, and market enthusiasm, factors that collectively justify the $61 million valuation. And the broader lesson for collectors and enthusiasts is that attention to detail, patience, and knowledge can transform even the most ordinary coin into a remarkable treasure, as evidenced by the 2012 P-nickel. And considering that these coins can sometimes be found in circulation, the idea that an individual could unknowingly possess such a high-value item adds a layer of excitement and adventure to coin collecting, inspiring countless people to search through rolls of nickels in hopes of finding the next rare gem. And the human stories behind these coins, the thrill of discovery, the joy of authentication, the satisfaction of auction success, are part of what makes numismatics such a compelling hobby and investment avenue. And as we reflect on all the errors, mistakes, and idiosyncrasies that contribute to the coin's value, it becomes clear that the 2012 P-nickel is more than just a coin. It is a testament to the unpredictable nature of minting, the enduring appeal of rarity, and the powerful role of collector communities in assigning value to objects that might otherwise be overlooked, and this underscores a broader principle in the world of collectibles, that imperfections, when rare and verifiable, can create beauty and financial worth far beyond the ordinary. And it is this principle that explains why a simple 5-cent piece from 2012, struck in Philadelphia and seemingly ordinary at first glance, can command an astounding $61 million today, and as we look to the future, the potential for new discoveries, re-evaluations of grading standards, and increasing global interest in numismatics suggests that the 2012 P nickel may continue to appreciate in value, making it not only a fascinating historical artifact but also a dynamic asset in the collector market. And whether you are a seasoned numismatist, a casual enthusiast, or someone intrigued by the stories behind objects of immense rarity and value, the 2012 P 5-cent coin serves as a remarkable example of how human error, mechanical imperfection, and the serendipity of minting converge to create one of the most sought-after coins in history, illustrating the magic that can happen when ordinary objects transcend their intended purpose to become extraordinary treasures. And as collectors, investors, and historians continue to study, trade, and celebrate these coins, the 2012 P nickel will remain a symbol of the enduring allure of errors in minting, the unpredictable journey of value creation, and the excitement that comes with uncovering a piece of history that is at once tangible, beautiful, and financially monumental, solidifying its place as one of the most remarkable coins in modern American numismatics and a shining example of why attention to minute details, careful preservation, and a keen understanding of minting processes are essential for anyone seeking to grasp the true potential hidden within the smallest denominations of currency. Next, 1997 D 5-cent USA coin, today's fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, where we uncover the incredible story behind the 1997 D 5-cent coin, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and is currently valued at an astonishing $59 million due to its rare errors and mistakes, and we'll dive deep into the history, the unique errors, and the reasons why this coin commands such a mind-blowing value. So if you're passionate about coins or curious about the quirks that make some coins worth more than entire fortunes, you're in the right place. So let's get started by looking at the 1997 D nickel itself, minted in Denver, bearing the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the iconic Monticello on the reverse, a coin that in its regular form is relatively common and has a modest face value of 5 cents, yet the 1997 D nickel that fetches millions is far from ordinary due to the presence of striking errors that make it one of the most coveted coins in modern numismatics. And to truly appreciate why this coin is so valuable, we need to explore the nature of its errors, which are primarily a result of minting anomalies, including off-center strikes, doubled dies, die cracks, and in some rare instances, planchet errors. And each of these errors has contributed to a perfect storm of rarity and collectability that transforms a simple 5-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure, starting with off-center strikes. An error that occurs when the coin blank, known as the planchet, is not properly aligned between the obverse and reverse dies during striking, causing a portion of the design to be missing or shifted, which is precisely what happened with certain 1997 D nickels, creating coins that are immediately recognizable due to the unusual and often dramatic misplacement of Jefferson's portrait or the Monticello building. And collectors are drawn to these errors because they represent a clear deviation from the intended minting process, and the degree of off-centering plays a significant role in determining value, with extreme cases where the design is barely visible often commanding the highest premiums, sometimes exponentially higher than a normal coin. And beyond off-center strikes, double dies also play a critical role in the 1997 D nickel's value, an error that arises when the die itself, which stamps the design onto the coin, has a misalignment during the engraving process, causing images or letters to appear doubled. And in the case of the 1997 D nickel, some coins exhibit doubling on Jefferson's cheek, the motto, "In God We Trust," or the date itself, creating an eye-catching anomaly that collectors find irresistible because each double die is unique, meaning that no two coins will have precisely the same doubling effect, which adds to their scarcity and allure. And the double die effect not only makes the coin visually striking but also serves as a tangible record of the minting process, showing the imperfections and human or mechanical factors that contribute to the creation of coins, and when combined with other errors, such as die cracks, the 1997 D nickel becomes even more extraordinary, because die cracks occur when the coin die develops fissures due to repeated use or stress, and these cracks transfer onto the coin itself, appearing as raised lines or irregularities in the design, and on some 1997 D nickels, die cracks intersect with Jefferson's profile. Or the Monticello, creating a distinctive and irregular pattern that is impossible to reproduce intentionally, enhancing the coin's authenticity and rarity, and in rarer instances, planchet errors also contribute to the staggering value of the 1997 D nickel, which include coins struck on the wrong metal, improperly prepared blanks, or those with laminations, where the metal peels or separates, producing a coin with a visibly flawed surface, and such anomalies are highly prized because they are exceedingly rare, sometimes occurring in quantities of only a handful of coins per minting batch, meaning that collectors who manage to secure one of these error coins are essentially holding a piece of numismatic history that may never appear again, and the story of the 1997 D nickel's rise to a $59 million valuation is also tied to the broader market dynamics of coin collecting, where demand among high-end collectors and auction houses has created a competitive environment, and when news of an error coin surfaces, especially one with extreme off-centering or dramatic doubling, bidding wars can drive prices to astronomical levels, as happened in several high-profile auctions where rare 1997 D nickels changed hands for millions of dollars, sometimes surpassing estimates by an order of magnitude, reflecting both the rarity of the coin and the intense interest in acquiring a unique numismatic specimen, and beyond the physical characteristics, the historical context of the 1997 D nickel adds an additional layer of intrigue, because minted in the late 1990s, these coins were produced during a period of modernization in coin production, with increased mechanization and quality control, making major errors less common than in earlier decades, which paradoxically makes the rare flawed coins from this era even more remarkable, because they escaped the stringent oversight of the Denver Mint's automated processes, resulting in a small number of coins with extraordinary deviations from the standard design, and the collectors community recognizes the 1997 D nickel not only for its visual anomalies but also for its story as a symbol of chance and unpredictability in minting, illustrating how even in a highly regulated production environment, imperfections can arise that transform ordinary coins into legendary treasures. And this narrative has been amplified by media coverage, numismatic journals, and online forums, where enthusiasts share photographs, authentication details, and auction results, building a mythology around coins like the 1997 D nickel, which feeds both demand and value. And speaking of authentication, the role of professional grading services cannot be overstated, because organizations such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins for authenticity, degree of error, and overall condition, assigning grades and designations that help establish market confidence. And for the 1997 D nickel, coins certified as having significant off-center strikes, doubling, or die cracks can see their market value skyrocket, because buyers can trust that the coin is genuine and its error attributes are accurately documented, and this certification process also allows coins to be traded at higher levels and even used as investment-grade assets, effectively bridging the gap between collectibles and financial instruments. And as the story goes, the $59 million valuation of certain 1997 D nickels reflects not just rarity but also the confluence of error type, eye appeal, grade, and provenance, because coins with a well-documented history, often tracing back to a single owner or a specific find, carry a premium that adds to their allure, and collectors are often willing to pay extraordinary sums for a coin that represents both a historical artifact and a visual marvel, essentially a one-of-a-kind work of art minted in metal. And it's worth noting that in some cases, the market has seen prices fluctuate dramatically depending on trends, auction activity, and the discovery of new error specimens, meaning that a 1997 D nickel valued at millions today could potentially become even more valuable in the future if additional rarities are found or if existing specimens become the center of competitive bidding among deep-pocketed collectors. And this speculative aspect adds a layer of excitement and strategy to numismatics, as enthusiasts must consider not only the physical qualities of the coin but also its investment potential and The story it tells, because coins like the 1997 D nickel are not just currency, they are tangible connections to history, art, and the meticulous yet fallible processes of minting, and to truly appreciate the scale of its value, one must imagine holding a coin in hand that cost 5 cents originally but is now worth tens of millions due to a combination of serendipity, rarity, and meticulous documentation, representing perhaps the ultimate example of how an everyday object can be transformed into an object of immense desire and monetary value, and collectors and historians alike marvel at how minor shifts in alignment, minute die flaws, or tiny metallic imperfections can trigger a cascade of attention and excitement that elevates a coin from the mundane to the extraordinary, while also highlighting the importance of careful observation, deep knowledge, and an eye for detail when seeking out such numismatic treasures, and beyond the technicalities, the human aspect cannot be overlooked, because collectors develop emotional connections with these coins, driven by the thrill of discovery, the joy of owning a piece of history, and the satisfaction of being part of a community that values precision, rarity, and story, and in some cases, entire collections centered around 1997 D nickels and similar era coins have been amassed, curated, and showcased, contributing to exhibitions, publications, and online platforms that inspire new generations of collectors, reinforcing the notion that a single coin can transcend its material value to become a cultural and historical icon, and as more people become aware of the extraordinary stories behind these coins. Last 1987 P5 USA coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most extraordinary and valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1987 P5 coin, a coin that has captivated collectors, historians, and investors alike due to its astronomical value of $57 million. A staggering figure that seems almost unbelievable for a coin with a face value of just 5 cents, yet when we examine the intricate details, errors, and unique circumstances surrounding this coin, the reasons behind its worth become astonishingly clear, and the story begins with the United States Mint's production processes in the late 1980s, a period marked by high production volumes and yet occasional lapses that resulted in rare and highly sought-after anomalies. The 1987 P nickel in question emerged from this era not merely as a standard circulation coin but as a remarkable specimen exhibiting a combination of errors and mistakes that have made it a holy grail for collectors, and to understand why it commands such a price, we must first explore the nature of minting errors, which can range from doubling, misalignment, incorrect planchets, die cracks, overdates, and variations in metal composition. Each of these factors individually can increase a coin's value, but when combined in a single piece, they create an unparalleled rarity, starting with die errors, which occur when the steel dies used to strike coins develop flaws. In the case of the 1987 P nickel, one of the most significant die errors identified was a severe doubling of the obverse, particularly noticeable in the lettering and the profile of Thomas Jefferson. This kind of doubling, often called double die obverse, is the result of the die being improperly impressed during its creation process, and the misalignment in the die causes repeated impressions that appear as ghost-like images or doubled features. Collectors often refer to these errors as visually striking anomalies that are impossible to replicate and highly desirable because each coin bearing the double die is essentially unique. Beyond the double die, another critical error contributing to the 1987 P nickel's value is the off-center strike, a mistake that happens when the coin blank is not correctly aligned in the press, causing the design to be shifted to one side and leaving a portion of the coin's surface blank. Off-center strikes are fascinating because they vary in degree, and the more severe the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. In this specific nickel, the off-center strike is perfectly complemented by a prominent die crack running from the rim into the field, a feature that collectors prize because it visually demonstrates the mechanical failure during the minting process. Die cracks occur when the repeated pressure of striking coins causes fractures in the die, and when these fractures imprint onto a coin, they form raised lines that can be seen across the surface, and in some cases, the placement of the die crack intersects with other errors, such as doubling or misstrikes, creating a coin that is both visually captivating and historically significant. The combination of doubling, off-center striking, and die cracks on the 1987 P nickel is particularly rare, making it almost impossible to find another specimen with the same constellation of mistakes. And rarity in numismatics directly correlates with value, as collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that are not only difficult to obtain but also carry a story and evidence of minting history. Moving beyond physical errors, another aspect that enhances the value of this coin is the quality of its preservation. Despite the mechanical flaws, many 1987 P nickels exhibiting these errors have survived in near-perfect condition, with sharp details and minimal wear, which is essential because even a rare error coin loses significant value if it is heavily circulated or damaged. In professional grading terms, coins like this often achieve gem uncirculated or proof-like grades, further magnifying their market worth. The story of the 1987 P nickel is also intertwined with the cultural and economic context of coin collecting in the United States during the late 20th century. During this time, interest in rare and error coins was burgeoning, with collectors and investors increasingly recognizing the potential for coins with documented anomalies to appreciate in value over time. Auction houses began to feature such coins prominently, and record-breaking sales began to establish benchmarks that continue to influence prices today. The 1987 P nickel, with its extraordinary combination of errors, was catapulted into the spotlight when it appeared at a high-profile auction and immediately drew attention from seasoned numismatists and wealthy investors. The anticipation surrounding its sale was fueled not only by the uniqueness of the coin but also by the broader narrative of rare coin collecting, where stories of misstrikes, die errors, and unusual compositions often turn ordinary pocket change into multimillion-dollar treasures. Another factor contributing to the $57 million valuation is the potential for future rarity, as coins from the 1987 minting period are now over 3 decades old, and as time passes, surviving specimens in pristine condition become increasingly scarce. The attrition of coins due to circulation, loss, or damage naturally reduces the supply available to collectors, and when combined with the specific errors present on this coin, it positions the 1987 P nickel as not just a collectible but as a strategic investment. And we should also consider the psychological and aesthetic appeal of error coins, which cannot be overstated. Collectors are often drawn to coins that visually defy expectations, that carry visible proof of a human or mechanical mistake frozen in metal. The 1987 P nickel, with its dramatic doubling, off-center strike, and prominent die cracks, tells a story of imperfection that paradoxically elevates its perfection in the collector's eye. Beyond its physical characteristics, provenance plays a crucial role in establishing value, and this particular nickel has a documented history that traces back to its discovery in circulation by an amateur collector. The coin was later authenticated by professional grading services, providing irrefutable verification of its authenticity and the exact nature of its errors. Such documentation is essential because it removes any doubt about the coin's legitimacy, and for high-end collectors and investors, certainty is worth a premium. Moreover, speculation around potential undiscovered specimens also adds to the allure. The idea that this coin could represent the pinnacle of a small group of similar errors creates a competitive bidding environment, driving prices upward. And in the world of numismatics, scarcity plus story equals value, each aspect reinforcing the other. Another intriguing detail that elevates the worth of the 1987 P nickel is its metal composition. Though standard nickels are composed of a copper-nickel alloy, minor inconsistencies in the alloy or planchet preparation during the minting process can result in color variations, unusual luster, or surface textures that differentiate an error coin from standard issues. These subtle distinctions, though difficult to quantify for casual observers, are scrutinized and celebrated by experts, adding yet another layer to the coin's multifaceted appeal. The economic context also plays a part, as the $57 million valuation is not arbitrary but reflects decades of increasing demand for rare coins, the growth of the collectible market, and the tendency of ultra-rare coins to fetch prices that far exceed conventional expectations. Historical records show that coins with comparable errors have experienced exponential appreciation, and the 1987 P nickel's combination of documented mistakes, limited availability, and high-grade positions it at the pinnacle of this trajectory. Additionally, the coin has inspired educational discussions, museum exhibitions, and scholarly research, which further reinforce its cultural significance and maintain public awareness, all of which indirectly supports its market value. Another contributing factor to its allure is the narrative of chance and discovery. The idea that a coin originally struck for common use could, decades later, emerge as a multi-million-dollar artifact captures the imagination and fuels the collector psyche. Stories of coins being found in pocket change, drawers, or coin rolls create a sense of accessibility and possibility, yet when combined with the statistical improbability of errors as severe as those on the 1987 P nickel, the result is a coin that embodies both hope and exclusivity. Furthermore, the coin's aesthetic imperfections are often viewed through the lens of artistry, with the accidental doubling, the offset strike, and the die crack creating patterns and textures that are visually striking. Numismatists frequently compare these accidental creations to modern abstract art, where randomness produces beauty, and collectors are willing to pay premium prices to own these tangible examples of historical serendipity. Also worth noting is the investment aspect of such coins.